like Anna, and I've got my sister Courtney here with me. So a lot of times, the families I work with pretty much always have issues with sibling rivalry or often sibling warfare, and the kids are fighting all the time. And a lot of times, the teens I talk to are constantly complaining about their sisters, their brothers, or siblings. And so I share stories all the time about me and my sister, but while we're on vacation together, I thought it would be far more fun to share stories together, and you can hear the wrong side that she has.
I speak truth
So,
only.
one thing I wanted to say first, and then we're going to get into this, is that growing up, we did not always get along. I know this is a shock. We are 3.5 years apart. I'm actually the oldest,
Mm-hmm.
although no one would ever guess it by my maturity level. But we are best friends now.
Yes.
100% best friends now.
Yep.
So I always tell people this because we did not start out best friends. So Courtney, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
This is our first FaceTime live.
Yes.
So
Probably first and last.
not at all. So what was it like growing up together?
So I have fond memories of growing up. I loved having a big sister. I probably was not the ideal little sister, but I think, yeah, definitely. I worshipped you growing
What?
up. Yeah. Oh my gosh, you were my big sister, and you were cool. So I thought.
Yeah.
I've since grown and learned. No.
I think this is a really good point though, because I talk to a lot of older siblings who are so annoyed by their younger siblings, and I keep telling them, and this is so true, like what
Yes.
she just said, they look up to you
Yes.
so much, whether you think they do or not. And actually bugging you is a sign of getting your attention
Oh,
because they're a
absolutely.
100% all the time. And so just to share a few things, because it didn't come across that she worshipped me, just FYI. One of my favorite things is I know this is gonna be shocking. I was very boisterous and loud and opinionated growing up.
And I was complete opposite. Personality spectrum, we are complete opposites, yet we're very similar.
In fact, what's funny is we did a
Myers
Myers-Briggs
Briggs.
test
Yes.
once that showed that we were absolutely complete opposites on the scale, where if we worked together, we were the worst two personalities to work together,
Yes, we were opposite in every single category.
which is why I don't think those tests are very accurate because we get along great.
Yes.
But one of the things growing up, though, is I just want to say, so I got in trouble all the time, and I blame a lot of it on her.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I knew exactly how to get you in trouble. And I think, you know, the whole how we were set up because we shared a bathroom and the bathroom was you had to go through your room.
Yeah,
So I pretty much had access to your
full access,
room
24/7.
all the time.
Not cool.
And I knew I could say, Mom, Dad, Cam won't let me get to the bathroom. And she had to let me through. So I could pretty much, yeah, I could bug you 24/7 just by
Yeah.
needing to go to the bathroom. I brushed my teeth all the time. I didn't actually brush my teeth, but I had to brush my teeth all the time just to get into her room.
So I had zero
Yeah.
privacy. So there was a lot of tension there. And then she
Yeah.
was really good at just pushing my buttons, literally doing
Yeah.
this. She would do
Yeah.
this. And
And
then
and you learn the hot buttons for our parents too of what there's some stuff that would be like, Courtney, stop it. And there's other things where I knew Cam would get in trouble. So I knew which buttons to push to make sure Cam got in trouble.
my favorite one was Courtney would literally like throw herself across the room
Oh
and
yeah.
be like, ah! And
Yeah.
I'd be like, Mom! And I would get in so much trouble because I'd defend myself going, I didn't even touch her.
No, you typically touched me. It may have been like that,
Yeah,
but
right.
hey, you
Okay,
touched me.
maybe
So
this. And then she would throw herself across the room and make this big deal. And here's the trick, too. My mom was the youngest sibling growing up. So my mom, I believe, had a little bit of favor, not, although we will say when we grew up, we both thought the other one was the favorite. Like, no
yeah.
lie,
Yeah.
100%. We thought that was funny. But I think my mom understood your role more because
Right.
she was a younger sibling. So I think she sympathized with you a bit more, although she did an amazing job at making things fair. Otherwise, we wouldn't get along so well. But I had a loud voice. I would get in trouble. So she would push
Yes.
me, then I would keep going until I
And
was
I
grounded.
think that's the other thing that helped in my favor is I'm an introvert. So I'm a quiet one. So when I make a fuss about something, they're like, "Well, Courtney's normally quiet. She's not one to complain or, create problems. So if she's doing it, then it must be true because I'm just the quieter one and I probably tended to cause less problems within the family dynamic than you did."
Um, Outwardly. So I just want to
Yeah.
point this out. Just because I was loud doesn't mean I was the only one that was bad, Mom. You would do a lot. You just did it quietly, and
Yes.
everything I did
Yes.
was very.
Well, you would ask permission and mom would say no,
And then I
and
get pissed off.
then you would get mad and then there'd be like an argument and then you'd be grounded for a week or two.
Technically, I'm still
I
grounded.
Yeah.
I stand up all the time.
Whereas I maybe ask permission, mom would say no, I'd be like, okay, and then I just like sneak out.
So here's one thing I teach parents actually. The sign of real respect, again, Mom, is me who fought back and argued,
Yeah.
not her. So I was more respectful. Yes, yes, because Courtney would just ignore
Well,
you.
but on the other hand, for other things, like if mom would say, "Can you put away your stuff?" you would dig in your feet and you'd be like, "No, I'm going to use it again. So it needs to be here. I have the right to keep my stuff here." So for
Still think
me,
that.
picking something up and taking it to my room takes like 30 seconds. So I'd be like, "Yeah, whatever, pick my stuff up, put it away, done." Whereas Cam, again, would fight for her right to have her book on, the kitchen table, and she was going to defend that to the death, man. It would be an argument and again grounding. Whereas it's like, Cam, like 30 seconds, literally just pick it up, walk up the stairs, put it down. So yeah, we were just very different. Me, it was like, it's not worth all that. Let me just put stuff away and be done with it.
It was
But
worth it.
yeah, you had the right to
I
have
had the
your
right.
book on
I
that
had the
table.
right. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. I was trying to claim my space. But I reset dominance in other ways. So one thing that was, we had to share a bathroom, like we said.
Yeah.
So we would be in there a lot at the same time. And one thing Courtney used to do, because she was taller than me from like day one, and she would just sit there very quietly looking at me and just going,
Yeah.
you knew it pissed me off because she would do this. So I would insert my dominance by how? How did I insert my
Yeah.
dominance?
Well, we only had one sink, so you would make me spit in the toilet when I'm brushing my teeth. So luckily I didn't have to like use that water or anything, but no, you would
Yep.
make me spit in the toilet.
Yep, I had to assert,
So
and then I would also like to hide in the closet because she had to walk by my closet to get to the
yeah.
bathroom. So I would hide in the closet and jump
But
out
then
and
again,
steal
I'm the
them
one that had to be in the bathroom while you were in the bathroom. Like
every
I
time.
I could have waited, but no. I wanted to be in there when you were in there.
Right.
So
So I had to assert some dominance at some point and
yeah.
set some limits. So I think we definitely had another favorite story of how we were like both at each other's throats, but yet the same is when I went and found your diary
Yeah.
and I read her diary, which
My deep thoughts
her deep thoughts.
as a middle school.
And the last entry was about how she had read my diary. And so I couldn't get, so she couldn't get mad at me and I couldn't get mad at her because we were both doing the same
Yeah.
thing. And then we were
Yeah.
both annoyed with one another.
Yeah.
So we picked on each other a lot.
We did. But I have to say, when we were on like vacations and when we were doing stuff as a family, I think we got along really well because then it was just us as a family. It's not when you're home, you have all your friends and things like that. So you want to do stuff independently. But when we went on vacation, I think we were like pals and did everything together
Yeah,
when we were off as a family. So
we did. What tips do you have for younger siblings? Or no, let me say, what tips do you have for older siblings and how to deal with their younger siblings?
oh, I think it is just perspective of them bugging the crap out of you is there's them wanting to be around you and have attention. And I think sometimes for older siblings, um, them taking the time to spend time with them. And I think for younger siblings, it's easier to get attention the bad way of annoying people and causing issues. So, yeah, I mean, the more time you can spend positively, I think the better. But even with that, the younger siblings are still going to annoy you for attention because
That's
you
their
can't give them,
job.
yeah,
That's their job. But I
yeah,
do often encourage older siblings to specifically find time to spend with their younger siblings. Like if they're constantly bugging them to play a game with them
yeah,
or go for a walk with them. Or so as parents, and I know this is often hard, but find ways to encourage your older sibling, the older sibling, to spend some time with the younger sibling and just continue to communicate that this is their way of getting attention and how much they actually really look up to and worship them. I think helps. From an older sibling's perspective, for the younger kids, I think it's also realizing that the older sibling needs some privacy and some boundaries. I feel like they're, and so as a parent, I think allowing the older sibling to have, to give them a chance to have their own. So a lot of times I see this with parents is they're constantly saying to the older sibling, let your younger sibling go, let your younger sibling go.
yeah,
If you can't do it, your younger sibling can't do it either. And that just makes us more resentful to the younger sibling. So I get that you want the younger sibling to feel part of it, but you also really have to respect that the older sibling needs to feel like they have their own space, their own friends, their own time too. They're going to be a lot more willing to share when they want to if they're not forced to
right.
always. And I think that was the one thing that I was very resentful for is I felt like I always was forced to share, and I would have shared more. I think, maybe not. But now we do. I mean,
Yeah,
now it's like, and that's the other hope that I wanted to give a lot of kids and a lot of parents is that there is a way for siblings to get along. And I'm curious, like, I talk to a lot of adults who do not get on along with their siblings nearly as well, like
hmm,
even remotely as well as we do. So, what do you think? Why do you think we do get along more as adults? What do you think
well,
the
yeah. I mean, even though we're completely opposite on the personality spectrum, I think we're very much alike. Like scary alike, and we kind of think the same way. So, and I think we also grew up with the values of family's important and sticking together as a family. Um, so I like being around you and I have fun with you and you're my best friend.
yeah,
So yeah,
we
and
it's
we've always lived. um, yeah, when my
within
son was born, we you moved back from California to Virginia. We lived up in Pennsylvania, and yeah, for the probably the past 15 years, we've lived less than a couple miles from each other. So
that now we do, and we always do vacation together too.
yeah,
So I think the important thing for parents to realize is that this is not forever. There's actually a reason why siblings fight, and it's not because they hate each other. A lot of times it's because they actually really love each other, but
hmm,
they're fighting for attention. I think the one is fighting to get the older's attention. The older's fighting for some space.
right,
So understanding that and encouraging the older one to spend some quality time with the younger one while also giving the older one some space to have on their own too, and to have that separate, I think it's really good. I
yeah,
know also one thing that used to drive me nuts as the older sibling is I always had to wait to a certain age. So one thing I remember is Grease. So when Grease came out, and this is setting our age big time, not that that's hidden anyway, but when Grease came out, I begged and begged and begged and begged to see this movie. And, my mom was very hesitant about seeing it. And I finally was able to see it because
it
Sean
was
Flynn, Sean
scandalous.
Flynn, it was, did it for her birthday party. And so I remember coming back from camp and so excited because I got to go see Grease with the birthday party. And a week later, my mom takes my younger sister to go see it.
Yeah,
So this was a big deal for me. This was a big
yeah,
like look at I'm so old and I get to do this, and then my younger sister like gets to do it.
yeah,
And that's great. Like it was cool for her, but it sucked for me because it was like it took away this big moment of like showing that I'm the older one and mature. And it was like, well, dang.
Don't
So
remember
I
that.
think just you don't.
No, I don't remember that.
Oh God, I do. So yeah, so it wasn't even that important to her, and it meant everything to me. So just not that I'm blaming mom for that, but I think just taking into account and allowing the older one to also have moments of being the older one, because once the younger sibling comes in, the older one never feels special anymore. And I know that sounds like woe is me, but the younger, cuter one is always the one I think that gets looked out for. And I think the older one needs to still feel like they've got something special.
Yeah. And I can see how, yeah, there's huge milestones for the first one, but I mean, with any second kid, you're much more relaxed and you're not as paranoid about everything, and things probably are just a little bit more. You're not as
100%.
focused on
I
everything.
mean, you're the first one's, your beta test.
Yeah,
You're going out there figuring out is this going to work or not, and then by the younger one, it's going to work. But
yeah,
that doesn't mean you should just
yeah.
like give the older one a little bit of specialness.
One of the other great things about being the younger, especially to you, is you were a good student. So, we lived in the same town,
Oh Lord.
from birth to after graduating college. So for school, every year I'd go in and they'd be like, Courtney Castle will be like, "Oh, Cam's sister." I'd be like, "Yes," and you were a good student. So that always got me off on a good foot with the teachers. Of course, like a semester later, they'd be like, "This Courtney is no Cam, but
Well,
okay."
I
But
think that was a double-edged sword too, because then as a younger sibling, you're always following in my footsteps, and
right,
their expectations are different. So
yes,
you're already labeled. You're
yeah,
already something, so you don't have the opportunity to set up who you are. And if you're
right. There's
very
also,
different,
yeah,
so it's kind of like,
and I
well,
was definitely. I mean, you excel in all of the English and all of that stuff. Then that's not my thing. Mine was the math and the sciences and stuff. So yeah,
but you were always like Cam's sister,
yeah. But
like
it
your
it
Sydney sister.
yeah, but it got me. I think that can go either way, where either that can be a good thing or a bad thing. For me, I thought it was a good thing because they at least, like I said, you were a good student. So,
Right. So it wasn't like I was establishing that you were going to be a pain in the ass.
right. They had positive thoughts about me until they got to know me a little bit better. And
So quiet. Why doesn't I always was in trouble for talking non-stop. That was my big thing, is I always got in so much
yeah,
trouble for talking.
and I just kind of went under the radar, and
Yeah, you were smart.
yeah,
He was a lot smarter than me. Still is. Um so then we yeah. So there was just I mean, I feel like there was a lot of things where if we understood more than what we know now, which is why I really want to just help parents realize and just think about your own relationship with your own siblings, on what that was like too. Like if you were the younger sibling, just realize that stuff's going on with the older one too. Like it's
hmm,
easier to relate to the one that you were the same with, but realize I think the other side of it, because I think what's really important is not to build into the sibling rivalry, which is don't compare kids to each other,
right,
because then it becomes a fight for who's better rather than teamwork on who works together.
hmm,
And I think there were some things that the two of us kind of worked together a lot, and a lot of it was
yeah,
anti parents, which we've already told mom about some of these things, and they were really silly, but a lot of it too is that we would team up together to do, to get away with some stuff, which is really minor at this point, but at the
yeah. It
time,
was all very innocent things, but yeah, I think we did. Yeah, we worked. We were also, and we still are, very competitive. I think both of us are very competitive people. So we're not so much competitive against each other, but
we push each
we,
other.
yeah, yeah,
We definitely,
we do.
we don't necessarily want to beat the other one, but we don't want them to beat us, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we're good at encouraging, although we weren't good at encouraging each other this week.
No, no.
We were good at talking ourselves
We
out
were
of
good
doing
at
good.
encouraging each other of, going off our exercising and no alcohol. I think it was the no alcohol that really got us this week. We're on vacation, so I think within probably 30 seconds of talking each other out of it, we were done.
We're like, this is
Yeah,
vacation. We're gonna
we're
do
on
this.
vacation. Yeah.
So that was good. So I think that was fun.
Yeah, that was.
Um, we just the biggest message is that siblings can get at each other's throats, but siblings can also become best of friends because we know each other better than anybody else in the world knows
Mm-hmm.
us, and we just there's no way around that.
Yeah.
And we do think way too similarly, which is really scary.
It is, yeah.
I remember playing Pictionary once,
Yeah.
and we were part. No one would allow us to be Pictionary friends because I would like draw a straight line, and she'd be like,
Taj Mahal.
"Yeah," it's like I don't know how that is. So yeah, it's kind of scary, but just know that the way that you help your kids interact with one another can set them up to be really good friends or really
Mm-hmm.
big enemies. Um, we want them to be friends.
Definitely.
All right. So tomorrow, I'm gonna actually get on with my niece Madison, yay, and her girlfriend Kayla, and my daughter Alexa, and maybe Kaylee too, and they're going to test Courtney and I
Oh, that's
on slang, kids kid lingo on teen or not young adult lingo and see how well we do. So it's kind of like the urban dictionary test, and we have no idea what they're going to ask us. So we're going to see how well we know young adult lingo, which is probably horrifically.
yeah.
So we're going to wing it. We don't know what they're going to ask us, and we're just going to come on. So come on tomorrow if you want to see that. And then I've asked them to share the lingo list with us so we can share it with you so you can learn some lingo too if you want. So we will see you tomorrow.
Yes.
All right.